Radioscope, the National Science Magazine program.
Good evening and welcome to the May edition of the National Science Magazine Radioscope. In today's edition of Radioscope, we will cover a wide range of topics, including information about the World Migratory Bird Day, National Technology Day, World No Tobacco Day, and information about the geographical events of May and June. In addition to this, we will also have regular columns where you will get updates on new scientific research and find out which brilliant scientists were born in May. So let's start with the news highlights in the field of national and international science and technology.
Hi there, I'm Alroy with the Science News. Researchers from the National Center for Coastal Research, Chennai and Madurai Kamaraj University have issued a crucial recommendation for the Gulf of Mannar, the Biosphere Reserve region, to enforce a total ban on all single-use plastics. Their comprehensive study focused on assessing macro, meso and microplastics along the beaches of Dhanushkodi, Kundukal, Pudumadam and Valangapuri. The results are alarming. Beaches in the area ranged from moderately clean to polluted, with moderate to high plastic abundance noted, corresponding to hazard levels I and a concerning high hazard score. Significantly, the backshore area was found to accumulate the majority of macro litter, with public and fishing activities likely being the primary contamination sources. This growing plastic pollution presents a dire threat to the region's biodiversity and could severely harm beach tourism, which is vital for the local economy. The findings underscore the urgent need to address plastic contamination as detailed in the recent publication in the Elsevier journal, Regional Studies in Marine Sciences. Researchers from the Indian Council of Agricultural Research, or ICAR, have uncovered a promising alternative to soybean meals, winged bean meal, which can significantly enhance the diets of juvenile butter catfish. Given the rising demand for Indian butter catfish, particularly in eastern India's West Bengal, Tripura and Assam, this research is timely. For optimal growth in intensive culture systems, these fish require protein-rich diets containing about 35 to 40% protein. Remarkably, findings indicate that winged bean meal can effectively replace up to 50% of soybean meals in these diets. This alternative not only provides a sustainable protein source, but also supports the growth of this commercially valuable species. Ultimately, this research positions winged bean meal as a key player in advancing catfish aquaculture. The study is published in Wiley Aquaculture Nutrition, highlighting its significance in the field. And that is the Science News section.
Listeners, those were the science news highlights for this edition of Radioscope. Now let's take a moment to remember the remarkable scientists born in the month of May. This month was blessed with an extraordinary group of scientists. Here are a few famous scientists who celebrated their birthday this month. And here's Glendika telling you more.
Richard Feynman, a brilliant American theoretical physicist known for his contributions to quantum electrodynamics, particle physics, and quantum computing, who received the 1965 Nobel Prize for Physics, was born on May 11, 1918 in New York City, US. Ronald Ross, a distinguished physician who discovered the mosquito transmission of malaria and the first British Nobel Prize winner in medicine, was born on May 13, 1857 in Almora. Pranav Mistry, a renowned Indian computer scientist and inventor, and currently the head of think tank team and director of research of Samsung Research America, was born on May 14, 1981 in Palanpur, Gujarat. Venkatraman Ramakrishnan, a famous physicist and a molecular biologist who received a 2009 Nobel Prize for Chemistry, was born on May 18, 1952 in Chidambaram, Tamil Nadu. Carl Linnaeus, the father of modern taxonomy, a Swedish botanist, zoologist, and physician who developed the modern system of classifying organisms, including the binomial nomenclature, was born on May 23, 1707 in Raschel, Sweden. And finally, Sally Ride, an American astronaut and physicist, and the youngest as well as the first American woman in space, was born on May 26, 1951 in Los Angeles, California. These were the famous scientists born in May.
Dear listeners, you know that in India, National Technology Day is celebrated on May 11th each year to commemorate the 1998 Pokhran nuclear tests and the nation's technological advancements. This day recognizes the vital contribution of scientists, engineers, and researchers in fields like defense, aerospace, and biotechnology. And when you speak of modern technology, the buzzword in these days is? Yes, you guessed it right. It is artificial intelligence. Joining us in Radioscope is Dr. Murari Tapaswi, retired scientist from the National Institute of Oceanography, Donapal, Goa. He speaks to Alfold Silveira and explains how AI is transforming industries, revolutionizing healthcare, and redefining India's tech landscape. Let's discuss the opportunities, challenges, and innovations shaping India's AI journey. Tune in for a fascinating conversation with Dr. Murari Tapaswi.
Well, if there is one global problem that you could solve using technology, say by 2030, what would it be, and what kind of technology would you suggest?
Well, I would give highest priority to evolve technologies that help improve our environment. The world today is on the edge of catastrophic situation. Finding solutions for global warming and climate change should be our utmost priority. Therefore, we must focus on solutions to handle this situation so that the Mother Earth is given safely to the next generation.
I think that's a very noble thought. I would probably work on an app that could help reduce stupidity of people when they're driving.
Yeah.
Well, how has the role of human creativity changed in an era where machines can write, design, and even invent?
AI, no doubt, is doing fantastic job in accuracy as well as speed. No doubt about it. Within seconds, AI can write a story, draw pictures, but that's all using available data on internet.
Even songs.
Even songs.
You can get one.
Yes, even songs. But then what is important to understand is that it will use only what the data is available on internet.
Right.
It won't do anything on its own. It doesn't have originality in thinking. One should be sure that people with creative minds, innovative abilities have no risk of losing jobs. There is one more dimension to this. A human being has different ways to express. When we speak with each other, we not only listen to the words, but we also correlate the words with facial expressions, body language,
yes,
and so on, and make sense of what a person is saying. Okay, the AI tool will only talk or write from the data that already exists. It can't convey feelings.
Absolutely.
Last year, the government introduced Surya Ghar Yojana,
Okay.
which really attracted many Indian houses. And that has 53% increase in 2024 over the last year. This is the way I think that we should be able to achieve the targets as such. We Indians are lucky to have renewable energy sources like solar and wind, and we must harness those.
I 100%
Yeah.
agree with you.
One more technology I would like to speak on this day is which is very common for everyone, is the Unified Payments Interface.
UPI.
UPI.
Yes.
Okay, it revolutionized digital payments in India, empowering millions to participate in the formal financial system. Today, estimates indicate that nearly 7,000 transactions take place per second. There are stories that beggars in large cities are sitting with QR code plate to accept alms using UPI. They are called digital beggars today. So, where is this going to take?
Why not? Why not? Absolutely. Since the last time I asked you this question, over 10 lakh transactions have taken place on UPI. So moving on, do you think space exploration or terrestrial technology deserves more focus in the next 5 years? And if so, why?
Well, the space exploration does have great opportunities because we all, again, on the user side, we have been watching our TVs, we use our mobiles, and then we get the messages from the satellites that are in the skies and all that. So
Correct.
it is something that even if we don't know what technology is being used, we are using that knowingly or unknowingly.
Correct.
But then I would again come back to the renewable energy. That really deserves more focus.
Absolutely.
Satish Naik, a member of the Goa Amateur Astronomical Observatory, is with us to give us information about the key celestial events happening in May and June that are essential for your awareness.
Hello friends, let me now take you on a brief tour of the beautiful astronomical phenomena in the heavens above in the last week of May and June. Astronomy and sky observation is indeed a very beautiful hobby, and whenever you get a chance to look at the clear and beautiful skies, don't miss it. Now to start with, the month of May and the last part of May is pre-monsoon season in most parts of India, mostly South India. So the skies are always overcast and there is no much scope for sky observation. But June kicks in with a lot of interesting phenomena which should not be missed. Let's start with the planets in the month of June. The king of the planets, Jupiter and Mars, will be resplendently visible in the whole month of June, and by the end of June we are in for the annual setting of our king of planets, Jupiter. You saw Jupiter bright and yellow blazing in the skies right from the end of 2024, and it ruled the skies all throughout the winter and the onset of the summer. Mars, the beautiful red planet, is overhead the whole month like a bright red dot and can be easily sighted in the beautiful constellation Gemini. Watch out for the twins, the stars Castor and Pollux, the beautiful yellowish and bluish stars forming the twins of the Mithun Rashi, and Mangal or Mars will be clearly visible throughout the month of June. Now let's have a brief roundup of all the June phenomena, subject to clear skies of course. On the 6th of June, there is a very important phenomena which occurs in the sky, but in the daytime, not visible to the naked eyes, but it still occurs, and it is of great importance to people of the coastal regions of Western India. On the 6th of June, the sun has its closest annual approach to the star of Orion, the head of Orion the hunter, the constellation we call Mirig or Mriga Rashi. And the sun comes very close in conjunction to the head of the Orion, the Mrigashira Nakshatra or the Meza stars. And for the western coast of India, this event is extremely special as the closest approach of the sun to Orion heralds the beginning of the monsoon in the coastal regions of southern India. On the 10th of June, we have another beautiful event in the night sky, that is an occultation or an eclipse of the moon with the star Antares. Antares is the bright red star which is also called Jyeshtha Nakshatra in the Scorpio or the Vrishchika Rashi. This is visible, actually, the occultation. What is an occultation? An occultation is an eclipse. When one heavenly body comes in front of another heavenly body, technically it is called an occultation. An eclipse of the sun and moon is also, you can say, an occultation. But this occultation happens of moon and a star, Antares. But unfortunately for us in India, this is visible only in the southern hemisphere from Australia to Indonesia. But for us, this phenomena will appear as a conjunction or a yuti, which is the closest approach. How do you watch it? On the 10th of June, in the evening after 8 p.m, look up into the sky and you will see a beautiful moon, and very close to the moon you will see a bright blazing red star, that is Antares or Jeshta, and you can observe the conjunction of these two objects on the 10th of June. Proceeding further, we have reached to the 21st of June, which is the most famous day in the northern hemisphere. In the calendar of the northern hemisphere, it is the summer solstice. The summer solstice is the day on which the sun is at the highest point in the sky for the northern hemisphere. Hence, 21st June is the longest day for us, the shortest night for us, and also technically the hottest day for the northern hemisphere. The sun comes overhead exactly in the afternoon, in the local noon you can say, on the Tropic of Cancer on this day. And the Tropic of Cancer in India passes through the famous and holy city of Ujjain in Madhya Pradesh. There on the Karkaresha or the Tropic of Cancer line, if you do an observation at exactly 12:28 p.m. on the 21st of June, you will suddenly observe disappearance of all shadows. Yes, it is the no shadow day for the summer solstice happening at the Tropic of Cancer. If you are in on around Ujjain on 21st of June, do not miss this beautiful phenomenon. Last and the most spectacular for the month, let's go to the 29th of June, where we have a spectacular conjunction or grouping together or coming close of two heavenly bodies, Moon and Mars. The waxing crescent moon is just 1.5 degrees away. That is very close to the red planet Mars on the night of 29th of June. So how to see it? After 8 p.m, just look upwards, look towards the moon, and you will see a bright red spot, planet Mars, very close to it. And very close to this yuti or conjunction, do not forget to look at a very bright and beautiful star, that is the brightest star of the constellation Leo, which is Regulus or the Magha Nakshatra in the Simha Rashi. So guys, this was the roundup for the beautiful astronomical phenomena for the month of June. Thank you and happy sky gazing.
Thank you very much, Satish Naik from the Goa Amateur Astronomical Observatory. Listeners, migratory birds are a true wonder of nature. They travel thousands of miles each year, crossing continents and oceans to reach their breeding, feeding, and wintering grounds. Their journeys often driven by changes in food availability, weather, and daylight. These migratory birds have an incredible innate navigation system using celestial cues, magnetic fields, and even visual landmarks to guide their way. Migratory birds play a vital role in ecosystems, pollinating plants, dispersing seeds, and controlling insect populations. They also bring joy and inspiration to people worldwide with their beautiful songs, vibrant plumage, and remarkable stories of endurance. Let's appreciate and protect these amazing creatures and their habitats. On occasion of the World Migratory Bird Day that was celebrated on 10th May, we have Dr. Pranoy Baidya, an avid bird watcher and a renowned bird migration expert here in Goa. Talking to him is Damien Carvalho.
Doctor, this year's theme for World Migratory Bird Day is creating bird-friendly cities and communities. What efforts can a common man take to align with this global vision?
There are various steps that a common person can take for birds, their conservation, which aligns with the vision of this year's World Migratory Bird Day. Now, I would start by saying to create bird-friendly habitats. By bird-friendly habitats, I don't mean be part of big afforestation programs, but even small initiatives like creating bird-friendly gardens, even if you live in an apartment, in the balcony itself. For example, You could plant species like the coromandel violet, a very small herbaceous plant which gives beautiful violet color flowers, which has a lot of nectar, which is a very good resource for sunbirds that are resident to our state. For example, we have the endemic vigor sunbird, which is found in good numbers in Goa, and it's endemic to the Western Ghats. This bird is attracted to this flower as a resource for itself. So you can do that. Number 2 is have bird baths. Bird baths are basically small terracotta pots or plates in
Tubs
which
of water.
just water. Keep it, and birds will come there to quench their thirst. Have a small bath. If possible, if there is scope, then try and be part of some afforestation programs wherever it is possible. And very important, I think, is to avoid these dark mirrors or one-sided mirrors that we use for our windows. A lot of times, birds think that is a rival, or sometimes they are not able to see what is in front of them, and they come and collide with these windows, and then they die. In some cases, during breeding season, the male thinks that is a competitor. So it comes and keeps on pecking
on the windows.
I
have noticed this, doctor.
Yeah, and that causes injury to their nervous system. The best way is to just put a small piece of paper behind it so that they don't see their own reflection. Small things like this. And another thing is document birds. That's a very important. If you are going around and you know what birds are there, just document what birds are there, report it to Citizen Science platform. And I would say the most basic thing is something like sort your waste. Sort your dry waste and wet waste, because
that's very important.
If garbage is not treated well, if our human waste, whatever we generate, is not processed well, it's all going out there and it is ingested by birds, and then that causes a lot of problem for them, and I think it's a global issue. So these are very basic small things that any person can do for birds, and which perfectly aligns with this year's World Migratory Bird Day's theme. That is creating bird-friendly cities and communities.
Doctor, one last question. Where can people like us go to see migratory birds in Goa? And what tips can you give individuals interested in bird watching and bird conservation?
Well, that, Damien, is very straightforward. Birds are there everywhere, including migratory birds. You can just spot them outside your house if you know where to see. But then I would recommend places like Karambolim or Maina Kurtori as places to see migratory wetland birds. Bondla, Tamdisulla, Netravali as places to see migratory forest birds. Sukor, Verna and Pilen as places to see migratory plateau birds. And finally, Akchi and Morji as places to see migratory coastal birds. So you could go to these places to specifically see migratory birds in these habitats. And as far as tips go, I think the most simplest tip would be just to go out, explore and enjoy nature. If possible, invest in a very small piece of binoculars, use a field guide, use apps like Merlin and eBird to report what you are seeing to Citizen Science platform. And finally, just being out there for wildlife and nature and trying to make sure that you are there to support their needs in terms of habitat protection as much as possible. So these are the basic few things that you need to know.
Dear listeners, on May 31st every year, World No Tobacco Day is celebrated and observed. In our studios today is Dr. Shekhar Salkar, a noted oncologist here in Goa and the president of the National Organization for Tobacco Eradication, NOTE. Dr. Salkar, on World No Tobacco Day, how can government organizations, stakeholders and other departments talk about this day and how to help people live a healthy life?
See, World No Tobacco Day is on 31st every year. Actually, we use this day as to cause a lot of awareness amongst everything, including everyone. It's like government also does the programs, NGOs does the programs, the schools and colleges, we have multiple programs. Then we have nodal officers in both districts of the North Goa, South Goa, with the collector as the chief. So they have a committee which sits and discuss and see how the things are going, how we are implementing the laws which are there. Is it properly implemented, not implemented? So in that, every department heads are there. So the basic thing lies on how to implement it, one way. How to cause awareness among children, because you should find that it starts normally somewhere around 7 to 8 standard. So if you start teaching them and having concentrated effort on children, maybe in the future we may avoid them becoming a smoker. One who is already smoking, then we have to have some cessation program for them. So there are three ways we can look at this. One is children who don't initiate tobacco. Then those who have already initiated and have addicted, how to stop them addiction, and how to cause awareness and how to implement the law which the government has itself has made. I know it has helped. It's not that it has not helped. Kotpa Act came in somewhere 2003 it came. And in last around 20 years, there is a drop in smoking and use of tobacco by almost 6%. 6% is a huge number. But still, we cannot control because new and new industry is bringing some new techniques and new advertisement types. Surrogate advertisement, indirect advertisement. So all these things causing continuous pressure on the children to, follow all those lines.
Yeah. Doctor, the theme for World No Tobacco Day this year is Unmasking the Appeal, Exposing Industry Tactics on Tobacco and Nicotine. You were just speaking about surrogate advertising, deceptive marketing. What is your take on this?
See, direct marketing is totally banned.
Absolutely.
For alcohol and this, you just cannot. Kotpa Act is very clear. You cannot do direct advertisement. So now they find this indirect. Actually, it is said indirect advertisement also is banned. But they have not said what is this indirect advertisement. Now they are taking this surrogate advertisement. For example, instead of having same type of brand, they have a same type of brand, same logo they use. And they are saying that it is used for, elaichi. Can elaichi and kesar can you give in 50 paisa and 50 rupees? Kesar is so costly. But this is like a, surrogate advertisement because they want to show their brand again and again in the same. Because nobody starts smoking or using tobacco after 30s and all.
They start
this
young.
age
They're
group is important for them,
yes.
around 10 to maybe around 25. And all this is a huge market for them.
Tobacco and cardiovascular disease, tobacco and lung disease, and a threat to the environment.
They are all, everybody knows that they are a threat to the environment. I don't have to tell. Even a child will tell that tobacco kills. Tobacco-related cancers are around 40-45% all over in India, especially in North. It's a huge number. Yes. So if you have 100 patients of total cancer, after when 30 to 40 will be only of oral cavity and the lungs and other things, which is due to our tobacco. In Goa, we have very controlled tobacco smoking. We have less than 10%. So our oral cavity cancers are also less than 20%. Okay. So we have dropped around 20% cancers by just controlling tobacco.
And have you also come across many cases of non-smokers?
That also is there. That is a part. See,
that's all part.
There are some people will say, I am not smoking, I am not drinking, I am not done anything. Still, why I am getting cancer? That query will always remain.
Yes.
Which is around if tobacco causes around 60% of the cancer of the lung cancer, 40% are without. And they are ladies. Yes. Maybe they are passive smokers because their husband smokes. Yes. They are not actually smoking. Or they are working in very chulla billa, environment is not free. So those may be the cause of that. Some causes in cancer we don't know. That is there always. Okay. Around 25-30%. We know only in around 25-30% what is the cause. 60% we don't know why it is occurring. Gateway to the drugs and all these bad habits is through smoke only. Everything starts with the smoking. Today only I smoke, tomorrow I will leave. It just doesn't happen. It is one of the powerful addiction next to heroin only. You take all the help of doctors, medicine, everything. Still out of 100 smokers, chain smokers I would say, not the casual, 100 chain smoker, only 30 to 40 will leave. That means 60 people out of 100 of smokers will continue to the grave with the smoke.
That was an interview with Dr. Shekhar Salkar, noted oncologist, and also associated with the National Organization for Tobacco Eradication, NOTE, on World No Tobacco Day. Friends, the journey through the May edition of the National Science Magazine Radioscope draws its curtains here. Hope you enjoyed it. You were listening to the National Science Magazine Radioscope. Script, Dr. Shubrata Mishra. Narration, Orina Vaz. Production assistants, Dr. Saish Deshpande. Producer, Damodar Atlekar. This was a presentation of Akashvani Panaji.
Radioscope, the National Science Magazine program.